Hi everyone, I'm Dion Cook from AVIXA and welcome to VIA, the next level, presented by Matt Copen. This webinar is brought to you by our sponsor today, Kramer. Before I hand the presentation over to Matt, I just need to go over a couple of quick housekeeping items. For everyone viewing today's webinar live, it qualifies for one CTS, CTSD, and CTSI renewal unit. So please allow up to 7 business days to view those on your transcripts. If you have any issues, please email us directly at webinars@avixa.org. The webinar should take approximately 45 to 60 minutes, and all attendees have been placed on mute. If you have any questions during the presentation, please enter them in the Q&A window so today's moderator can address them at the end of the webinar. To access the Q&A window, just move your cursor to the bottom of the live stream video box and locate the Q&A icon and type away. You will have access to the recorded webinar at avixa.org/webinars in about 5 to 7 days. Matt, please take it away.
Thanks, Dion. And thank you for the introduction. My name is Matt Copen. I'm actually the VIA product manager in the US. VIA for most of you is probably a little bit familiar. And actually the point of kind of today's presentation is not to necessarily introduce VIA to people that have never ever seen it before. I'm not going to be talking about why you need wireless or what the benefits are. I think you all know that, and that's why you're here. In fact, I even changed the title of the presentation, because of some of the updates that we introduced. I kind of joke that the only good thing that's come out of 2020 is the improvements to VIA, just due to everything else that's been happening in 2020. So kind of bear with me here, and we'll get through kind of an introduction to VIA quickly, and then really more talking about all the things we've added to VIA lately that give us what we've kind of learned as our wireless solution today. So VIA for us is a family of products. Rather than being a standalone or one-size-fits-all solution, VIA really is a platform for us to offer wireless presentation and collaboration. So again, the idea here being that rather than just offering one product that comes at one price point that offers a set number of features, we've gone out and done some analysis on how people meet and how they use their meeting spaces, and we've built those features into 5 different models. Now, with the core functionality of VIA being the same, and the core functionality is that you can walk into a meeting space with whatever device it is you like to use and get the content from your device up to the main screen. At the heart of VIA, they all do the exact same thing the same way. In fact, the family that we have here has actually grown a little bit. We've actually retired a few of these hardware models and actually brought in a few new models here as well. So on this next screen here, you kind of see the new separation, and that's, we're introducing our VIA Go 2, which I'll talk about in a little while, which has been, a really exciting, segue from our most popular VIA model to its newest generation, as well as some software solutions that we've added to the VIA family, and a new version of our high-end VIA Campus and VIA Campus Plus. So again, the idea here being that we have a family of solutions that allow you as either an integrator or even an end user to go out and do a needs analysis of the space that you're looking to put, wireless connectivity in. And based on that needs analysis and probably the budget that's there, you can select the right product that makes the most sense for you, rather than being forced into a product that either costs more than you wanted to spend or now offers a feature set that is just way beyond what you were really looking for that space. And again, I'm not going to go over all the different features and functions. That's actually, on our website, which I'll link to at the end of the presentation here. You can go on and you can see, this cut sheet here, which, on the top right-hand corner, you can see all the 5 different models that we offer. And then down the left-hand side, you see 2 pages of all the different features that the VIA products can offer. And this is a quick way for you to kind of, again, do that needs analysis while you're in the space and look at, which VIA product makes the most sense for me. So for example, let's say you were looking at the VIA Go, which is actually now the VIA Go 2. Again, probably our most cost-effective and popular wireless presentation product, but you're using it for a training room where you want the ability for users to either annotate on top of the screen, or you want them to be able to see the content up close and personal. If you look down here, the first 10 or so features are all about wireless presentation, enterprise management, security. They're the same across all the different models. But then you get to view main display, and view main display is that ability to take whatever's being presented to the screen and bring that back to the user's devices. It's great for training rooms. It's great for any kind of a school application, or even, if you're ended up at the wrong end of a boardroom table and somebody puts up an Excel spreadsheet. You can look and see here that, the view main display is not a feature that's supported on our VIA Go or VIA Go 2, but it is available on our Connect Pro, our Connect Plus, and both campus models. So that would be an easy way for you to say, okay, I think I'm going to need a VIA Connect Pro at least for this space. And you can continue to go through your needs analysis and make, educated decisions about which products kind of work for you. So, we've been able to continue to improve these feature sets and add to the products over the lifetime of the products as well. And one thing I always like to point out kind of at the beginning here is that, VIA is one of the lowest cost of ownership wireless presentation products in the market. And part of it is what I just discussed, the ability to actually to pick a product that fits your budget and fits your needs, again, rather than having to buy just the one solution that the company might offer. So you get to choose the product that fits your needs and your budget. All the products come with a 3-year hardware warranty and a minimum of 3 years of free firmware updates. And there's no ongoing maintenance costs to the updates. The thing that I always like to mention here is that, we've been selling VIA since 2014. We've had VIA Connect Pros that are still in the market today that are continuing to get firmware updates. And because we still sell the VIA Connect Pro, they're eligible for updates for the next, 3 years. So we have users that have purchased VIAs in 2014 that are going to continue to get updates until, well beyond 2020, which I think is a testament to how the products are designed and how the products work. It also allows, you as an integrator to think about putting wireless technology in more places because you're not wasting money on costly maintenance or annual agreements or those types of things. The way we can continue to do this is the way that we've designed VIA. So, Kramer's a hardware manufacturer first. So what we did is we challenged our hardware engineers to go out and source the best dedicated hardware for what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Again, first and foremost being that wireless presentation solution in the meeting space. And then on top of that dedicated hardware, our software engineers, built purpose-built software. So we have software that's dedicated to the VIA functionality that's running on this dedicated hardware. And the software is what makes VIA flexible and malleable, and it allows it to change with the new technology trends that are coming out in the market, new protocols that devices are supporting. Take for example the VIA in 2014. At that time it didn't support things like AirPlay or Miracast, which are now available on all of our VIA devices. So again, without having to pay any maintenance costs or go out and buy new hardware, you continue to get a product that will evolve with you over time. And I think that's a really important thing, especially when you're deploying these things at a large scale. So, the first place that we see the software is through the way you get connected to VIA. I'm going to talk about a few different ways that you can get connected and show your content to a VIA. But the way that we designed it initially, and the way I would recommend it to an everyday VIA user, the way that I use it every day, is through our VIA software, which, again, if you're familiar with VIA and you've ever used a VIA before, might look a little different here because, we just released version 3.0 software update this past weekend, which aside from always improving security and adding new features and that sort of thing, has been the biggest cosmetic update to VIA probably since our debut. So again, on the right-hand side there, you see the new VIA client, which again is very familiar if you ever used VIA before, but takes on a new, more modern look. And the idea of this slide here is really to just kind of show you that, through the VIA application, you have one touch join and one click to present. So, if you're using VIA, you simply walk into a room and launch your VIA software. You're just joining the room that you want to get connected to, and then you're clicking to present your content to the screen. And it's going to either mirror everything that's on your screen. You can use VIA as a virtual extended display if you want, or you can even just share an individual app window if that's something that you're interested in as well. Again, but this software continues to evolve with us and with the VIA so that we can continue to improve it over time. Here you just kind of get a look of where we kind of came from and where we're going with VIA. So on the left side, you see the VIA, earlier client, the 2.2, pretty much the client since we introduced the product. And then on the right-hand side, you see the 3.0 client, which is, again, familiar. It still has a large present button right in the middle, but again, takes on a new, more kind of modern look. And then on the next slide here, you see when the actual application is open. So again, we know that the focus for VIA is really always just getting users connected and getting their content up on the screen, which is why you see a big giant green present button on the main screen of this application. And all the other additional features and functions, which we know bring value to meeting spaces, is hidden under the show options button, so that your users aren't looking at that and being inundated with all these different things. As soon as they click the show options button, now they have a list of the features that are available on that specific VIA. And the client application is smart enough to know whether it's connected to a VIA Go, which only offers wireless presentation, or if it's connected to a VIA Campus 2 Plus, which offers all of these additional features like the screenshot kind of shows here. So software, I think, is a great way for users to get connected. We know it's not the best solution for guest users who don't want to download anything, people who can't install anything on their device. So our engineers have worked really, really hard over the past year to introduce what we call clientless connectivity. And clientless connectivity basically means that what we've built into VIA is the native protocols that are already built into all of your devices. So if you walk into a conference room that has a VIA, you can use, in addition to the software application that I just mentioned, Miracast if you're on a Windows and Android device, which is built into those types of devices. AirPlay if you're using any kind of a MacBook or any kind of an iPad or iPhone or anything like that. Or if you're on a Chromebook or you just don't want to download the VIA software application, you can actually join directly through a web browser without having to install anything on your device. So again, you browse to either the DNS name or the IP address of the VIA, and there's a big giant join through browser button now that you see there that allows you to get connected to the VIA without installing any kind of an extension or anything other than just having the Chrome or Firefox or Microsoft Edge browser on your computer. And you have full desktop sharing, you have app window sharing, you even have the ability to use the features like View Main Display without installing anything on your device. So again, this is more than just wireless presentation. This is the full VIA experience directly through a web browser. And for like our VIA Go product, which is so popular in the education market where Chromebooks are like the #1 device for students, this is huge because now you're allowing your Chromebooks to get connected and take advantage of VIA, without having to, download or install anything on their devices. So again, this has been a really big thing for our developers over the past year, and I think they've done a really, really nice job with making this work for us. So let's talk a little bit about, the focus of the presentation here, which is how software running on our VIA products has allowed these products to evolve and change and really improve over time. So you saw a clip of it before, but here is my VIA software application, and just clicking on the show options button gives me a running list of all the features that are available on my VIA. So again, this is one place where we're really improving, the VIA functionality. So what we've done is we've gone out and again studied meeting culture, met with people in the industry who are experts on how people meet and what they like to do in their meetings. And we've intelligently continued to add features to our VIA products that we think are, beneficial to those types of spaces. You see some, third-party video conferencing, which I'll talk about in a little while, things like whiteboarding and chat and those types of things. The best part about this is that just because you choose one of the VIA products that offers these features doesn't necessarily mean you need to enable them for your users. So let's say, for example, you really like that View Main Display feature, but something like chat or file sharing you consider to be, distracting or a security risk or something for your users. As an administrator, you can go in there and disable those features so that your users just don't see them in their user interface anymore. So it's not even like they're grayed out, they just won't see them. So it's a great way to kind of do a soft rollout with features as well. So just because the products offer it doesn't mean you have to give it to your users. View Main Display, I talked about this. I always kind of include a slide because this is the #1 reason people get introduced to VIA. They think, I probably only need a VIA Go because I just want wireless presentation. And I think there's a lot of products on the market that really focus on, hey, you can put unlimited pieces of content and unlimited users up on the screen. Not enough devices out there are thinking about the user experience for the people sitting in the desk or in the chairs. And it's so important to be able to bring that content from the display back to your own device so you have that visual reinforcement. And that's what View Main Display does. In addition to obviously just bringing the content back, users can even annotate locally and take notes on their own device without impacting what's happening on the main screen. Or a teacher can actually flip that and walk around the room with an iPad while while students are presenting to the screen and be able to annotate on her iPad over what she's seeing and have it appear on the main screen. So view main display can be used in a number of different ways, and it's 25 frames per second. So you have real-time video coming back to the user's devices, through view main display. I think it's a great feature, and it's definitely worth talking about. The other place that VIA has kind of evolved, and I don't know that it's that unique anymore in this space, but that's through, room calendar integration. A lot of products, including the VIA now, are able to show you the room's calendar on the main display. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of products stop, and I think VIA has kind of taken that one step further. So, obviously, we want a cohesive experience from the room scheduling system that you might have outside of the room to what you see when you walk in the room. And that's great when you can show the calendar on the wallpaper like you see on the screen here. But where I think VIA takes it one step further is, we're not just taking that calendar information and showing it on the screen. We're making the VIA inherently aware of the room calendar and what's scheduled in the room. And what I mean by that is, if I go back to the software application that VIA uses, you'll notice that, before I choose to join any one of my rooms, I have on here that the beach room is available for 58 minutes. Well, how does my VIA know that it's available for 58 minutes? It's actually looking at the calendar information and saying that, this room is not scheduled for anything for the next 58 minutes. It can also tell me if the room is in use and how long until that meeting is over. So I can use the VIA application even as a room finding tool to be able to say, oh, we need to meet right now. Let me see which rooms are available. And I can do that directly from, the VIA software that's running on my computer, which I think is a great thing. The other place where, we're adding a little bit of intelligence to, the VIA software is because the VIA is aware of the room calendar. It can offer gentle reminders on the screen to say, hey, there's another meeting starting in 5 minutes. Start to wrap things up and move it along so that we can keep things on schedule. So again, not just showing the content on the screen, but also taking that and using that information to offer more information to our users. So one of the things that we've offered for a long time is streaming both in and out of the VIA. We know that a lot more AV over IP matrices are being installed than traditional, hard HDMI matrix switchers or something like that. And the VIA for a long time now has been able to offer H.264 encoding and decoding, which can allow these to be an extension of your AV over IP matrix. Actually where we're talking about this a lot now is in hybrid classrooms or classrooms where, you have a limited number of students that can be physically in a space, but maybe you have an overflow room where more students might be sitting. You can take any content that's being presented to VIA and, encode that as an H.264 stream and have that passed over the network. And, H.264, since it's a standard, it can be decoded by something as simple as VLC media player running on a laptop. It can be decoded by any kind of dedicated H.264 decoder from Kramer or from some other manufacturer. It can be decoded by another VIA. A VIA can actually be in another classroom that's decoding the stream from, the head end VIA. That would allow you to show the content from one room to another room. Or it can be pushed to some kind of distance learning or recording device for lecture capture. H.264, because the standard, can be kind of sent anywhere. And we've taken that one step further with our 3.0 update, and we've actually added RTMP streaming to our VIAs. So if you have a VIA Connect Plus, a VIA Campus 2 Plus, or a VIA Campus 2, you can actually enable, RTMP streaming now, which will allow you to stream directly from your VIA to services like Panopto or Kaltura, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. There's a number of services that directly can receive an RTMP feed that can be coming from a VIA, and now they take care of your distance learning or your broadcasting across the internet and everything else. So the VIA can now be a tool that gets you onto the internet to allow you to broadcast whatever's happening in that space out to a larger audience, which again, in a COVID world where we're trying to reduce the number of people that have to be in a space, this is something that we're discussing on a pretty regular basis. Not to mention that our VIA Connect Plus and our Campus 2 Plus also have physical HDMI inputs on them, which means you can bring another hardwired device into the VIA environment and also push that out over the stream. So if you had a document camera that you wanted to bring into VIA and push that out over an RTMP stream, you can do that. Or a hardwired in-room PC or something that's not running the VIA software. Really the sky's the limit, because now there's a physical HDMI input on the devices. So again, a huge thing that that came out of user needs during the pandemic, and we've added to our 3.0 update. Digital signage has always been part of VIA. In fact, any VIA gateway that you purchase today, comes with a digital signage license already activated, and it gives you the ability to kind of use the displays as double duty. What we realized early on was that a lot of our VIAs were being installed in common areas or huddle spaces with glass walls, and they were sitting on a static wallpaper screen. So with digital signage, you can actually take the VIA's output, and when it's not being used as a screen sharing device, you can use it as a digital signage piece, which again, during the pandemic, when you have users coming back, you can publish information about, new guidelines or new standards within the space directly on a VIA. And again, whenever it's not being used as a VIA, it will show digital signage. And anytime you want to use it as a VIA, you just join through the application or through the web browser, and it'll immediately return to a VIA. You can use it for as long as you'd like. As soon as you log out, it goes right back to digital signage. Now, the reason I included this in the presentation today is because digital signage probably got one of the biggest workflow and graphic design updates in 3.0. So if you've never used VIA before, this may not look too familiar to you, but digital signage now on the VIA is really pretty thorough, and it allows for a complete drag and drop user interface. So you just select the template, whether it's a template that we've previously created or a template that you like. So you can define what frames you want, how big you want them to be, what percentage of the screen you want them to show. And then you drag and drop the content that you've uploaded to the VIA onto the frames. You can have multiple things as kind of a playlist show in all the different spaces. And when you're done, this is saved as a template. And all you have to do is schedule it to happen at either certain times of the day, certain days of the week, between certain times. And you can also take this template and push it out through our enterprise management solution, which is VIA Site Management, and have this be played on multiple VIAs. So again, this is just an addition to what VIA already offers in its wireless presentation and collaboration environment. But digital signage now, the VIAs can be used as standalone digital signage players stuffed behind a display device. And again, there'll be a digital signage player 99% of the time, but the one time you need to have an ad hoc meeting in that area, or you have a holiday party and you want to show some pictures, the VIA is always there as a wireless presentation device at any point in time. Similarly, we've also updated our wallpaper editor. And if you haven't seen this before, again, this is a great reason to try out a VIA product. We know that the user experience, usually with these wireless products, is make or break in the first 10 seconds. If you enter a room and the VIA doesn't look inviting, or it's not easy to get connected to, or it's perceived as complicated, people can be turned off, and then your user adoption drops to zero. So what we've done is, rather than us trying to figure out what works best for how to tell a user to get connected to a VIA, we've designed a drag and drop user interface with a number of different elements that you can put on a screen anywhere you'd like. And it creates basically a template for you to be able to take and apply to multiple VIAs throughout, a facility. So this allows you to go in there and completely customize what your users see when they first walk into the room. You can include Wi-Fi information, the name of the AirPlay device, how to get connected if you're using Miracast, or if you're using an HDMI input. All that information can be included any way you want on your wallpaper, without really any limitations. So again, this is a great way for you to customize that user experience to ensure that your users are, getting the information that they need, they're getting connected to the devices easily, and user adoption is growing for you. Probably the most exciting part of this presentation is the next part that I'm going to kind of go through here. BYOM has been the new acronym recently, and it stands for Bring Your Own Meeting. And Kramer's actually been doing this for a while now. It's just that the term to describe it has kind of changed. So we do Bring Your Own Meeting a couple of different ways. Obviously we have our VIA Campus 2 and Campus 2 Plus products, which are based on Windows, which means they can take the place of an in-room PC. They run the VIA software on there, but you can install any third-party Windows applications like Zoom or BlueJeans or Teams or anything that you want on those devices. Those have always been available. But they're again, the more higher end VIA products, they're a little bit more expensive. You wouldn't put these in every single meeting space. They're more designed for your higher end meeting spaces. So what we've done is, we started with our VIA Connect Plus, which is again, the middle of the road product for us. It has the HDMI input on it. And we pre-installed Zoom, BlueJeans, and Microsoft Teams, directly on the VIA. So as a VIA user, you can actually log into the VIA, and you can launch Zoom, BlueJeans, or Teams directly on the VIA Connect Plus. These are the client applications of these three softwares running directly on the VIA, which means you could actually even enter the room without even bringing your laptop and launch your Zoom meeting or launch your BlueJeans or Teams meeting directly from the VIA. USB cameras and microphones can be plugged into the VIA device. It can be a video conferencing solution for you without having to bring any third-party devices. Teams is brand new in 3.0. It's not something we were offering earlier, but it is something that's available now with the update. Again, it's a free update for anybody who has a VIA Connect Plus. So if you like that option where the application is literally running on the VIA, the Connect Plus, and using these applications might be a great solution for you. You can imagine the pushback or the feedback that we got as soon as we launched something like this, because not everybody loves Zoom, BlueJeans, or Teams, but most people do. We did get some feedback about, hey, well, I like to use Google Meet, or I like to use WebEx or GoToMeeting, and that's fine. So we challenged our integrators, or sorry, we challenged our developers to give us a more software agnostic solution. And what they came back to us with is something that we call VIA Versa. And VIA Versa gives you the ability with a VIA Connect Plus or VIA Campus to wirelessly share the room camera and mic from the VIA back to any connected VIA users. And this allows users to drive the meeting with their own laptop, use their own software, use their own calendar invites, and just use the camera that's professionally installed in the front of the room, and the microphones and the DSP that's professionally installed in the ceiling. So we're using the VIA to transfer all that information, but we're allowing the user to drive the meeting from their own laptop. So bear with me here while I go through these next couple slides, because I think it kind of paints a picture of what the problem was or what the challenge was, how we kind of met that challenge, and where VIA Versa kind of sits. So, if you take a typical meeting like the one you see here, on the right-hand side here, you see, a display with a, kind of a huddle space table, a couple users maybe sitting there. A VIA Connect Plus is in the room. Maybe there's even a webcam there. And, if I walk in with my laptop, I can actually, use the VIA application to present from my device up to the main screen. In fact, I can even run Teams on my laptop, and the people in the meeting space with me are all going to see the Teams meeting. They're going to see the users on the far side. They're going to hear the users on the far side. It's a good experience for the people in the room. Where the challenge comes into play is, I don't have access to that camera at the front of the room. So the only camera and microphone that I can choose through Teams on my laptop is the one in my laptop, so the camera in my laptop and the microphone in my laptop, which means the users at the far end of the meeting, they're only going to see me. They're not going to see the other participants that are sitting in the meeting space. And they're probably not going to be able to hear them because the microphone laptop is facing me and it's not a great microphone. So that's the challenge. So, one solution is obviously to take the USB camera from that webcam and plug it into my laptop. And now, I can go into Teams and I can select the camera and the microphone of that webcam. But again, we're offering you a wireless presentation solution now, and now we're telling you that you need to be tethered with a USB camera. We didn't like that solution. Not only that, extending USB, especially USB 3.0, is costly. It's probably going to end up costing you more than the cost of a VIA Connect Plus just to get it out to the table. So again, this wasn't a great solution. So what we came back with is what we call VIA Versa. And with VIA Versa, we tell you to take that USB cable from your webcam and just install it and connect it to your VIA Connect Plus. It's going to stay there forever. You're never going to have to worry about plugging it in anywhere else. What you're going to do with the VIA software application is you're going to present to the VIA the same way you always have. So you're just going to use the VIA software application to present to the main display. And over to that same wireless connection, we're actually going to take and pass back the camera and the microphone feed to your laptop. So what you can actually do is, directly in whatever software application it is you like to use, you can go in there and select the microphone and the camera that are in the front of the room. So regardless of the make or model of the USB camera or whatever else, it comes back to the user's device as a USB device, and then you can select the VIA camera and microphone from the front of the room. So now the people at the far side have the ability to see, the users from the camera feed at the front of the room and the professionally installed microphones that are in the space. So again, VIA Versa frees you up from having to use any cables and allows you to drive the meeting with your own laptop and take advantage of the nicer camera and the microphones that are in that space. So there's a couple different benefits that I see to using something like Via Versa. The first thing is that, again, we've removed the need for any kind of cables or dongles. You don't have to plug anything into your laptop. A software-based solution also removes the need to plug in any kind of a button to your device, which, again, if you're trying to stay clean during a pandemic, you don't want to be touching buttons or cables or anything else. So it's a great solution there. The other place, and probably the most important reason that Versa is so powerful, is that you can use any software that you want on your laptop as long as it can accept a USB camera and microphone, which all of them do. And you can use your own laptop to drive the meeting. I would argue that your client's laptop is the device that they're probably most familiar with. They already have their meeting invites in their calendar software. They already have, Zoom installed. They're logged in. It has their client list and everything. You're not trying to teach them to use anything new. The only thing you need to teach them to do is just to select the camera in the room and the microphone in the room, which is something that they already do when they, have a Zoom meeting from their desk, when they have an auxiliary camera that mounts on top of their display device. So again, this gives you the ability to take advantage of all those USB peripherals in the space and still maintain a wireless connection and still allow you to use whatever software it is you like to use. I do see a couple questions here. I'm going to hold off on the questions till the very end just to make sure we can get through the content, but I promise you I will get to the questions. So the next thing I wanted to mention here too is, that same, wireless presentation device that offers digital signage, now Via Versa, can also offer you the ability to work directly with Kramer Control, which is our cloud-based control system, as the hardware that's in the space. And if you're not familiar with Kramer Control, that's information for a completely different webinar. We could spend another hour talking about Kramer Control, but in a nutshell, Kramer Control is our cloud-based control system. It allows you to do all of your programming, your GUI design and everything right through a web browser. It means you don't have to roll a truck to a site. You can do your troubleshooting remotely. Everything is done directly through the cloud. But the control system is managed and used locally on site, which means there's a piece of hardware within the meeting space that acts as a brain. It's also the piece that, is talking to your devices locally over the network or with RS-232 controls or relay contact closures. All that to kind of say that, even though Kramer Control is a cloud-based control system, you still have a piece of hardware that resides in the room. Well, if you buy a Via Connect Plus and you put that in your space to do your digital signage and your wireless presentation and your Versa, it can also act as that hardware brain just by purchasing a brainware license. So now the Via can act as that hardware device that can control your display device, it can control your lights, it can control your thermostat, all directly over the network, working directly with Kramer Control. So again, that's just another thing that we've added to the Via platform to allow the Via device to be used as more than just wireless presentation and to allow you to put it in applications where, you might be thinking about 3, 4, 5, 6 different products. You might be able to do that with the Via Connect Plus. Easy to deploy and manage. I always like to just mention Via Site Management. Any kind of a larger deployment of Via devices, or any devices for that matter, need to have some way to be able to have a centralized enterprise management solution, and that's Via Site Management for us. And it really starts with deployment. Via Site Management allows you to import a list of all your rooms ahead of time. You can actually, set up which Via devices are going in which spaces. You can change your wallpaper templates. You can change your digital signage templates, all before even taking a single delivery of a Via piece of hardware. And then during the install process, the only thing that you need to do is go out and plug in an HDMI cable, a power cable, and a network cable. And the Vias will automatically come online, through either our internet server or through your local DNS. They'll be discovered by the VSM server. Based on their MAC address, they'll automatically know which rooms they belong in, which means they know now what to call themselves, how to look, all that kind of information. So it really a zero-touch kind of a deployment, other than just physically plugging the devices in. There's no configuration that needs to be done on the gateway side. Just like any other enterprise management solution, we're offering, health of the units as well as alerts based on that information. So if the units are off at a certain time, you can get an alert about those kind of things. If they haven't reported in a while, you can get an alert. Group-based configuration, this is actually template-based now. So you can actually go in and create a template based on, what settings you like for certain groups of devices, and you can apply that template to a single device, to a group of devices, or your entire deployment. So no more configuring your devices independently. And likewise, you get your firmware updates as well. So all of your firmware updates can be done through Via Site Management. VSM can even alert you when new firmware is available. Then you can just log in and you can either schedule or push the firmware anytime you want. You can schedule it for outside of business hours or over the weekend. It's really kind of up to you, but VIA Site Management is the tool for that. And the last is reporting and analytics, which continues to be a growing thing for Kramer as well. But since we're talking to these devices on a regular basis, we're also collecting information about how the devices are being used. Which ones are using the View Main Display feature, and which ones are have the most participation, and which ones are not being used at all, which is maybe more important. You can look at your investment in the technology and determine how do we move forward? Do we need more training? All those kind of things can be achieved from the analytics part of VIA Site Management. And the way VIA Site Management is sold today, we sell you a software install that can be used or can be installed on a local software server in your data center. In the future, we're actually going to be offering a cloud version of VIA Site Management, which is coming as well. And the cloud version of VIA Site Management works exactly like the on-prem version, but now, it's going to live, in the cloud. So that means that, devices can be managed across network boundaries around the world. In fact, you can even, as an integrator, maybe manage, multiple of your customers and offer a service contract type of an application. So that's something to consider as well. We're probably going to be releasing Cloud VSM in the next few months. So more about how that will work, pricing, that sort of thing will be coming as well. And the last few things here before I get to the questions is just introducing some of the new hardware. So again, I joked earlier that the only good thing to come out of 2020 was VIA 2. That really refers to the new hardware and the new software. So a few months ago we introduced our VIA Campus 2 Plus. Our campus product is really our flagship product. And this was kind of a logical update to the product. So, it's a newer, more powerful chipset. It's got a 4K HDMI input, which the old model didn't have, and dual 4K outputs, which actually you can drive 2 independent displays. You can put 12 people presenting up on the main screen, or you can dedicate 1 to media content and 1 to collaboration. It's built-in wireless, built-in Miracast. This is shipping right now. So that's available for you. And, again, the biggest announcement recently has been the VIA Go 2, which again is one of, if not the smallest wireless presentation devices in the market. It's, 2 3/4 inches squared. So you can easily mount it behind any kind of a display device. But the big change here is that now, the VIA Go 2, is available with a 4K HDMI output. So it's now supporting 4K and still all the same clientless connectivity that I talked about earlier, built-in wireless, built-in Miracast, all that. And we're even offering this, I think the MSRP for this product is $545. There's even education pricing that we're offering at $495. So if you have an education opportunity or you're an education customer and you're looking for a wireless presentation solution, this is one of the most competitively priced products, especially when you talk about the feature set and what it's capable of doing with digital signage and everything else. This is a really great solution for our education customers as well. And the last thing is, obviously I talked about the actual software itself, the client UI, but we've also put a ton of time into improving the experience for the administrators and the people that have to manage these devices on a regular basis. So again, if you've ever seen a VIA before, this is probably going to look a little new to you, although it might be a little familiar, but the whole back end of VIA and VIA Site Management has been updated to just give you a more clean, more streamlined user experience from the administrator side to make sure that, we're taking care of the people that have to deal with these products on a regular basis. And lastly, just a couple of resources. Obviously, when you're installing anything on your network, like VIA is designed to be, there are VIA Deployment Guide, which talks into multi-network, installations and those types of things. All of that's available on our website. You can go to www.true-collaboration.com, which is the Kramer mini site, or kramerav.com, either one of those. And sometimes the best place to find new information and what's new with VIA is on our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube playlist that talks about, how you use all the different features and, some of the other marketing things. So there's a lot of information on our YouTube channel as well. So with that, that's all the information that I kind of had prepared. I thank you for listening. I'm gonna take a little time now and answer some of the questions that I did see come through the Q&A chat. So bear with me. I'll probably read the questions out loud and then I'll go ahead and answer them. First question, is there a subscription needed to use VIA? If I need it for signage or just buying the hardware, do I need a hardware and a subscription? No, the answer is no. I think we answered that one a little earlier. But yeah, there's no maintenance contract. There's no subscription with VIA. You know, the price that you pay on day one is the price that you pay to continue to use the product for as long as your hardware works. Yeah, it goes for digital signage, goes for Versa, goes for just about everything. Somebody here is also asking about price points. I'm not going to get into pricing here on this webinar. I would encourage you to reach out to either me directly or to us on KramerAV.com. We'll be happy to put you in touch with either an integrator, or if you are an integrator, we can put you in touch with a distributor to get that information out to you. Somebody asked about controlling the room. Controlling the room is not really a function of VIA. You could certainly use a third-party controller if you wanted to, but we would encourage you to really kind of take a look at Kramer Control, which again, these two products were built by the same company. They're really designed to kind of work together. And Kramer Control is a killer cloud-based control system that I think, you know, probably can suit most of your applications at a fraction of the cost of some of the other ones. Somebody asked, is Versa a software app that you need to download? Does it work with Windows, iOS, Mac, or Android? The first thing to understand is Versa is a laptop solution. It's not designed for iOS or any of the other places, just because we don't think that's where you're hosting your Zoom meetings from. Versa today is only available on Windows laptops. There is a Mac driver that's coming. It does require the install of a driver application. It's basically the receiver for that virtual camera and microphone that makes it a USB device. So it appears as a normal USB device on your computer. So again, it's available for Windows today. Mac is coming soon. And again, not designed for mobile devices, more designed for the device you're going to drive the meeting from. Is Versa an upgrade to the VIA Virtual Camera Driver for Windows? Versa and the VIA Virtual Camera Driver are one and the same. The camera driver is the virtual camera driver. Versa is what we've coined as the marketing term that covers the application of wirelessly, you know, bringing those camera and microphone devices back to your computer. There has been some updates. I don't know when you downloaded that Versa driver. I would encourage you to go download the latest driver from the Kramer website. There have been a lot of improvements in 3.0, not only to the user experience, but also the audio video quality. So the next question is about audio and video latency. Will the video shared on the meeting monitor match the audio in the room? This seems to be a problem when using wireless to push room mic camera. So of course, you know, this is one of the things that, you know, has taken us so long to really perfect Versa. Obviously, if we add a little bit of latency, that's not necessarily a problem because Zoom is already adding latency to your video call, and the people at the far end are never going to see you speaking. So we do add a few frames of latency. The more important thing for us is that audio and video from the near side is reaching the far side together. And again, that's one of the things that left our VIA Versa feature in 2.6 as a beta release for about, you know, 9 months. And now in 3.0, we're removing the beta tag and making it available as a, you know, a fully fledged workable solution. So yeah, we think we've mastered a lot of the audio video latency and certainly lip sync issues that were plagued to a lot of these solutions when they were first released. So yeah, good question. And what type of training is there for the programmer and on-site AV Manager? So yeah, we offer a number of training. Actually, Kramer has a lot of online training that you know, if you go to KramerAV.com and sign up as an end user or an integrator, you know, there's a lot of free training on there that will teach you how to use VIA, teach you how to use VIA Site Management. If you want to if you're interested in Kramer Control, AV over IP, any of the technologies that Kramer works with, you know, our Kramer Academy is great for offering free training for a lot of our users there. And I think that's all the questions that I do see here. I don't know if anything came. Yeah, so there were a couple that came in through the chat. I'll just take a look real quick. Does it work with all cameras? It does work with all cameras. You know, as long as the camera is USB and it uses a you know, normal HID driver, meaning that you don't have to install some proprietary display driver or audio driver to get the camera to work. It should work with any camera or microphone device that's available. We haven't tested everything. There is a list on our website of the approved cameras that we've tested, but we know the list goes well beyond what we've been able to test ourselves. So Yeah, all great questions. Again, my name is Matt Copen with Kramer Electronics. I'm the VIA product manager. I appreciate your time this afternoon. If you have any other questions, you can either reach out to me directly or contact us through kramerav.com.
Thank you so much, Matt. And I'd like to thank everyone for joining us on today's webinar via the Next Level. This recording will be available on avixa.org/webinars within about 5 to 7 days, and your 1 renewal unit credit will be applied to your transcripts within those 7 days. If you have any trouble, please contact us at webinars@avixa.org. Just a side note for CTS holders, if you have registered for the webinar with an email address other than the one we have on file for you, we can't give you credit for attending. It can be fixed on the back end, however. Just email your account rep and let them know that you used the wrong email address, and we'll fix it for you on the back end. So I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Kramer, and a huge thank you again to Matt for helping us to understand via the Next Level. We hope you've enjoyed it. Please thank you and have a great day.